I strongly support the negotiations regarding Iran's nuclear programs. I also strongly support the President's stated goal that we must prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Congress, in fact, has led the way on this point. Senator Graham, Senator Menendez, many others, Senator Kirk, by building broad multilateral sanctions regime that has forced Iran to the negotiating table. That is why today we are introducing the bill, the Iran Nuclear Negotiations Act, with a simple message: allow Congress to weigh in on behalf of the American people on what is one of the most important national security issues facing our nation. We hope the administration reaches a good agreement over the next 4 months that will prevent a nuclear-armed Iran from becoming a reality. But if and when they reach an agreement, let's bring all the details out in the open. Let's examine the agreement in its entirety, and let's determine if it's in our national security interest. To help ensure that that is the case, Senators Graham, Senator McCain, Senator Rubio, and myself are offering this bill that will do 3 things. First of all, have a congressional review. First, it allows Congress to weigh in on any final deal the President reaches with Iran. The bill requires the President to submit any final deal to Congress for review and then allows Congress to introduce a joint resolution of disapproval should it choose to do so. Second, it ensures Iran does not cheat on any final agreement. The bill requires the Director of National Intelligence to report on any violation by Iran to Congress. If determined there is credible and accurate evidence that Iran violated the agreement, all sanctions that have been temporarily lifted should be reimposed. And thirdly and finally, in order to ensure the interim deal doesn't become the final deal, the bill puts a clock on negotiations. This clock is consistent with the timeline the administration itself has outlined. If the President does not submit a comprehensive final agreement to Congress, all sanctions relieved under the interim agreement would be restored immediately on November the 28th, 2014, 4 days after the end of the extension period. Let me be clear. Nothing in this bill talks about imposing new sanctions of any kind, and nothing in this bill would prohibit Congress from seeking further sanctions if it chooses to do so. This bill does not dictate the terms of what a final deal should look like. Rather, it helps to ensure the Iranians do not use the negotiations as a delaying tactic or cover for advancing their program. This bill is all about transparency. The administration can go out and try to get the best deal possible. They simply have to show Congress and the American people the result, letting the deal fail and succeed on its own merits. This should be an area of broad support and broad bipartisan agreement. Even Secretary Kerry, in testimony before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said that any final deal will have to pass muster with Congress.